Most visible sign of the shutdown may be at the nation's airports, where ground stops and flight delays have been building for weeks, more than 30,000 this week alone. The DOT says up to 53% have been shutdown related, as some controllers call out sick in protest or take second jobs to feed their families.
Instead of focusing on the safety of the American flying public, they're now focusing on what they can't afford to pay.
Amid a national controller shortage, the FAA has been pushing to hire thousands of new controllers, putting them through the ATC Academy.
I think at this point in time, I'm going to hold off on flying for now. One reason is safety. I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a scaredy cat. I don't want to take the chance for something to happen. It probably won't, let's be honest, but don't want to take the chance. And two, I don't feel like waiting in a line for 2 days for a flight that's supposed to be 4 hours. It just doesn't sound appealing to me.
The longer the shutdown goes on, and as fewer air traffic controllers show up to work, the safety of the American people is thrown further into jeopardy. Now, I'm heartened that we have a leader like Secretary Duffy. He has an extraordinary team. We have extraordinary air traffic controllers in this country, and they are maintaining the safety against incredible odds. But right now, there are 13,000 air traffic controllers and more than 50,000 TSA officers who are showing up to work without pay. Secretary Duffy's doing a great job to triage this, but he noted that normally just 5% of flight delays are the result of staffing shortages. Right now, that number, at least 2 days ago, was 53%. According to online flight tracking databases, there were 19,000 delayed flights from Saturday to Monday, and an additional 1,600 canceled flights during that same period. That number is only going to increase as the Democrat shutdown continues, especially as air traffic controllers are set to miss another paycheck on October 28.
Approximately 10,800 air traffic controllers and other aviation safety, highlight that again, safety, go away thing. You see it. Safety professionals are among those affected. There are some people that are essential workers that have to go into work regardless of whether or not they're receiving a paycheck. Now, why is that important? Now, again, these are my opinions and my assumptions, but some of the data seems to be backing it up. That creates safety concerns. You have people calling out. You have people who maybe they're not on their best job, right? Their mind's not really there to be able to perform their job to the best of their ability because they're worried about how to put food on the table to feed their families. So you mean to tell me that the person that's controlling the skies and making sure that I fly the friendly skies without any issues occurring or takeoffs and landings having issues are not fully present at their job because Congress essentially can't come to an agreement? That's crazy. That's scary. There are real people, real TSA agents, real air traffic controllers, and other people that work, not just those groups, but those groups are very important, but other people that work for the FAA that are experiencing issues because of this shutdown. And those trickle down to people who don't work for the federal government, like myself and like you, who want to have peace of mind when we travel the friendly skies.
Just give her 2 boxes and a pizza.
The average government check should be about $4,700. Instead, zero. The most visible sign of the shutdown may be at the nation's airports, where ground stops and flight delays have been building for weeks, more than 30,000 this week alone. While some are weather-related, the DOT says up to 53% have been shutdown-related, as some controllers call out sick in protest or take second jobs to feed their families.
Instead of focusing on the safety of the American flying public, they're now focusing on what they can't afford to pay.
Amid a national controller shortage, the FAA has been pushing to hire thousands of new controllers, putting them through the ATC Academy. But while students are paid, they're not getting paid if they graduate during the shutdown and start their first jobs.
Some of our young controllers in the Academy and some who have been given spots in the next class of the Academy are bailing. They're walking away.
At the Las Vegas and Salt Lake airports, food assistance for controllers and TSA officers. With no sign of compromise on Capitol Hill, the concern is that more TSA officers and controllers might call out sick as this drags on. And the Thanksgiving travel rush is now just a month away.
You know, I wasn't even thinking about the fact that the holiday travel rush is about to be upon us, which means that this 5% to 53% now delay increase is really going to affect people. Because right now, people are still flying, yes, and there's been a drastic increase in delays. But just imagine when Thanksgiving comes and Christmas comes. It's gonna be wild. Also, something in this video that really is scary to me personally, let me know what you think, is that they are rushing to hire new air traffic controllers. Now, we all know when you rush things, you have mistakes. And this is a job you don't want to have mistakes. So Now they're rushing people to get through this program because people are bailing, right? Because they know, okay, well, if I graduate, I'm not gonna get paid anyways, not right now anyways. And the people that are calling off are forcing them to try to rush new people in. To me, that's quite scary. I don't know what you think about that. So let's read a couple of the comments to see what the sentiment is of people watching this video. So one person says here, I think food inspectors not getting paid is the scariest. You know what? That's a very valid point. I'm talking about air traffic right now, air traffic controllers and FAA, and that's scary, but you could just choose not to fly. But like she said, food inspectors not getting paid? I guess you can just not go out to eat, but I don't know how that affects your groceries or other ways you get food. Another person says, holding a class for a job you are not going to pay them to do is diabolical and nasty work. Yeah, that's pretty sinister. So you mean to tell me that I'm coming to train just to not be paid when I graduate the program? And this is why a lot of them are bailing. Now you might say, okay, this is a long-term play. I shouldn't be here just for, you know, a short time, you know, not a long time, a good time, not a long time. But the thing is, either way, you want to know that when you finish your class, you're going to get something out of it. And if you're going to be finishing your class to just go either not even go sit at home, to go work for free. I mean, you'll get back pay, supposedly, but to go work for free is diabolical work.
If you plan on flying soon, then you probably know that air traffic controllers and TSA are being forced to work without pay. But what you probably didn't know is that they will be receiving their first $0 paycheck on October 25th. So that's more than 13,000 US air traffic controllers and 50,000 TSA employees, plus their families, who will be paid $0 in just a few days for their work because of the government shutdown. Not only will this impact your experience at the airport, this will impact them too, leaving uncertainty on how they will meet basic expenses, mortgage, food, and daycare. The shutdown is also increasing staff shortages, causing delays and operational disruptions at major airports. Now, how are we expecting these employees to maintain the safety of millions of passengers as they experience heightened stress?
So she essentially just summed up what this video was about, but I want to touch on something here. What really boggles my mind is the fact that congressional employees, which what they are essentially are, still gets paid during a government shutdown. And I wanted to identify why that is. Essentially, during the government shutdown, members of Congress continue to be paid primarily due to constitutional protections. Okay, so the Constitution protects it, and the separate funding source for their salaries. Unlike other federal operations that depend on annual appropriations bills, which is what's going on now. They're trying to get the bill passed. It hasn't been passed, which is why federal government employees haven't been paid. The practice of Congress continuing to receive pay has been a source of public frustration and has prompted repeated legislative efforts to stop it. And it says there have been people trying to call for no budget, no pay bills, which would withhold or eliminate congressional pay during government shutdowns. Let's say that laws were changed, and if a government shutdown occurs, that Congress does not receive pay. Here is the interesting part about that. We all know that a lot of these Congress members, they have fat pockets. Now, how they got all that money? Not a topic for this video, but it just makes you think, okay, would they really even necessarily feel not getting that paycheck? Let's be honest. A lot of these Congress members are millionaires, multimillionaires, and I don't think I'm misstating facts. So for them not to receive their paycheck that they receive for being Congress members, you know, their actual paycheck, not the money they get in other ways, I don't know if it would really even matter to them. So with that being said, guys, I think at this point in time, I'm gonna hold off on flying for now. One reason is safety. I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a scaredy cat. I don't wanna take the chance for something to happen. It probably won't, let's be honest, but don't wanna take the chance. And two, I don't feel like waiting in a line for 2 days for a flight that's supposed to be 4 hours. It just doesn't sound appealing to me. So I'm gonna hold off flying until this whole thing blows over. I shouldn't say blows over, until the Congress can come to an agreement and pass an appropriations bill to get all these federal workers paid. I'm going to hold off and I'll be staying myself right at home, maybe taking a staycation. With that being said, thanks for tuning in. If you have any comments, let me know in the comment section. I would love to read them. And until next time, make smart financial decisions.